Berkeley. What Kamala Harris, and remember, I remember when Joe, he didn't want to do it. He was too tired. He didn't want to do it. I like to do it myself. And by the way, how good is J.D. Vance? Is he great? I know J.D. J.D.'s going to be saying, sir, let me do it. I want to do it, sir. And if he did it, it would be done right. But I'd say, J.D., I want to do it. We'd have an argument over who's going to do it. It'll be done right. But J.D. was great. He was great the other night exposing that total moron. Man, can you imagine? How about in a debate, a guy calls himself a knucklehead? He says he's a knucklehead. And he is a knucklehead when you get right down. What a team that is. So Joe Biden is considered the worst president in the history of our country. They are considered the worst administration in the history of our country. And the only one that's happy is Jimmy Carter, because by comparison, he looked like a brilliant president, okay? Much better. No, he was much better. What Kamala Harris has done to our border is a crime and an atrocity of the highest order. But even after all of the pain and suffering she's caused, when Kamala was asked this week if she would do anything different than Biden, she choked like a dog. She said, not one thing. So she wouldn't have done anything different. Let's take a look at this video.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition. US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
Can you imagine? I watched that, and I said, well, this is going to be a long answer because she's got, she's changed 15 policies. She was in favor of gun confiscation, every single thing that you don't want, 15 times. I said this, and she changed. Nobody's ever, if you change one thing, you're in trouble. She did every single thing, but every single thing she changed, she would end up doing, including banning fracking, which is going to drive up costs, and hence, I'm leading Pennsylvania by a lot. That would be the end of Pennsylvania. That would be the end of Pennsylvania. But that statement, I can't think of a thing I changed from Joe Biden, the worst president ever. She's not going to change. No, she choked. I thought this was going to be a long answer, long, beautiful. The weave. I thought you'd do a weave like Trump does, weave, and then always come back into what you're doing. You need a great memory for that. She doesn't have that. But what she said is disqualifying. If she had any honor, she would drop out of the race right now and resign the vice presidency in disgrace. Because what she has done to the country is unthinkable.